When measuring amps, volts or ohms, we normally use a multimeter like this one. It's called a multimeter because it can take a multitude of readings or read multiple things like amps, volts, ohms, as opposed to perhaps a single-use meter like this one, which is only used for measuring amps or milliamps in this case. We also have different types of multimeters. This is what's called an auto-ranging multimeter because we just need to set the dial to either volts, ohms or amps to be able to read that particular value or quantity. This particular one also is able to measure temperature, frequency and capacitance. This differs slightly from another type of multimeter where it's not auto-ranging. So for example, in the DC volts range, we have to select what is the highest scale that we're going to be taking a reading on. In this case, like 2 volts or 20 volts. And for the ohms, 2000 ohms, 20,000 ohms, etc. like that. Taking readings is, for voltage in particular, is very simple. All we need to do is set the selector to volts, get whatever we want to measure and put our meter across the terminals that we're measuring. In this case we see that we have 2.4 volts out of our 9 volt battery, so the battery is very flat. You'll also see in this case that the multimeter is actually reading minus 2.4. That tells us that the probes are on the opposite terminals, and if we switch them round we'll get 2.4 without the minus sign. This is one of the big advantages of a digital multimeter, in that it doesn't matter which way round you put the probes, as opposed to, for example, an analog meter, where if you put the probes around the wrong way we'd try and bend the needle backwards and damage the meter.